Chicago Bears have a lot of work to do heading into the NFL draft because in free agency, they lost five defensive backs that were major contributors to the team. So what should the Chicago Bears do to fix this void that we have? And did the NFL tell us how they really feel about the defensive backs that's going? And then me and C Dub are going to talk about the new addition, Khalif Raymond, right before we get into the mailbag. Y'all know before we talk about it and break it all down, you gotta hear the music first. What's going on, Chicago Bears fans? And welcome back into another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears. I'm your host here, Bobby, joined by C Dub. So if y'all tuned in, love what y'all listening to, and Bears fans rocking with the nation, hit the like button and subscribe. C Dub, what's the word?
What's the word, man? Another week closer, bro. Another week closer.
My man's gonna keep counting down the weeks. It's gonna be a long time. We got
So
some
what?
time,
I'm gonna
brother.
count them down regardless.
But hey, we put our GM hats on and try to figure out how we can make this Chicago Bears team better. But hey, NFL free agency saw a number of players go to different teams across the NFL, C-Dub, including some of our own. We lost five defensive backs who contributed to the Chicago Bears' success last season. Kevin Byard signed a one-year deal with the Patriots. Nashawn Wright signed a one-year deal with the Jets. Jaquan Brisker signed a one-year deal with the Steelers. C.J. Garner-Johnson signed a one-year deal with the Bills. Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles signed a one-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Man, how you feeling about the loss of these five defensive backs, man?
Hey, man. In my opinion, before last season when Ben Johnson got here, and when he acquired Dennis Allen, I think he set. I know Ryan Poles set Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson down in a little private meeting. In my opinion, it was like, okay, we're gonna take care of the offense and get that set this first year, and then the second year, Dennis Allen, we're gonna give you what you want. And what Dennis Allen wanted was not a Luka LeBlanc bomb and just entirely blow up the defense. It was surgical strikes. It was surgical strikes. And when it comes to the defensive backfield, it was a lot of surgical strikes. We lost Jaquan Brisker. We lost Kevin Byard, who went to the Pro Bowl. We lost Nashawn Wright. Just talk about the guys that had significant time on the football field. So with that said, Dennis Allen wasn't happy what we had here with the guys, and we can expect we if we thought that they played great, how much we love Jaquan Brisker doesn't matter, because it's Dennis Allen's turn, and you know what he wants in this defensive backfield? Speed. It's all speed. When you look at the acquisitions and guy like Coby Bryant, speed, intensity, aggressiveness, tackling. You get to the guy like Cam Lewis. Who knows if the Bears draft another safety out there, but Cam Lewis, speed, aggressiveness, tackling, sure tackler. You bringing back guys like Jalen Johnson. Maybe it's because of financial reasons, but he's not. I don't think of speed when I think of Jalen Johnson. Maybe it's all financial. Kyler Gordon, you can probably think about speed, even though I thought he probably slowed down. He got a little buff and he slowed down a little bit. You do bring back a guy like Zay Frazier. You got Elijah Hicks, and Jalen Johnson will be back from injury. We're going to try Jalen Johnson again. Not Jalen Johnson, Jalen Jones again. Be back from injury. We're going to finally see if Jalen Jones can stay healthy for at least 8 games. I'm going to cut it short. Stay healthy for 8 games, Jalen Jones. So how I conclude all this to say is Dennis Allen's turn. And what he wants in that defensive backfield is speed and sure tacklers. and Ryan Poles is going to make sure that he gets exactly that because he made sure that Ben Johnson got exactly what he wanted.
I agree with that. It sucks to lose all these guys. And at one point, I was one of those people that believed that after you sign a guy like Coby Bryant, there was a chance that you compare him with a guy like Jaquan Brisker, especially consider that he only went for $5 million to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I was like, man, still no deals for Bayard or Brisker. Maybe after Coby Bryant, they might want to pair one of these guys with Coby Bryant. But then those guys moved on. Kevin Bayard did come out and say that it came down to the Bears and the Patriots, and he ultimately went with the Patriots. And that's his decision. I'm not mad at it. Go do what you feel is best for you in your career. But I say all this to say it is what it is, y'all. We got to go out there and see if we can have the defense that's necessary to go out there and not only depend on a bunch of turnovers, but that can generate stops when necessary, like they did last year. But we need to do it at a more consistent basis. When we talk about the speed that they want to implement on the football field, we got to talk about schematics. When we look at it schematically, we always see through numerous times on third down that Dennis Allen is going to give you a pressure look with linebackers in the A gaps or defensive backs near the line of scrimmage. And when you do send players, they got to get home. And that time he was sending players, they wasn't getting home. And in times when you look at the schematics, when players were dropping back, those linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, those guys weren't necessarily getting back in coverage fast enough to the liking of Dennis Allen, what he wants. So schematically, you understand it. Do we have to like it? No, but I would still allow us to get through the draft. Yeah, it's gonna be some people, and it's fair to where they say you don't really want to put a lot on the rookies, a lot of pressure on rookies to help turn it around. But I say pressure is a privilege. And those young rookies that's about to enter this organization, they should feel honored to be pressured, to having to learn fast, to being implemented in a defense fast. They should be honored that somebody is going to go out there and challenge those guys to become mainstays within this defense. Did we hear Colston Loveland complain? Did we hear Luther Burden complain? No. Did we hear Cal Monangai complain? No. Those rookies faced the pressure and rose to the occasion. So the same thing should be said to the defensive players that are about to hit this franchise, and we should hold them to the same standard, a winning standard. There's no excuses. Coaches are going to have to coach. Players are going to have to play. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and we could look into his logic and try to figure it out just a little bit. When you look at Dennis Allen, he probably looked at all the stats from the season that ended, and he seen that the Chicago Bears are one of the worst teams when it comes to giving up explosive plays and explosive touchdowns.
Yep.
And then when you think about back of the season, we seen a lot of guys running for daylight last season. We ain't gonna sit here and act like we were blind and did not see that throughout the season. They did get better, culminating in that I thought was a great game plan by Dennis Allen against the LA Rams. I think that was probably his best work. Even though they gave up some points, I think that was his best work from pretty much, I don't want to say stopping the Rams, but they slowed them up a whole lot in their game. The Bears, they gave up a high number of explosive plays last year. And hey, man, it's Dennis' turn. And that's my opinion. It's Dennis' turn. He sees that as the problem of the Bulls. I mean, the Bears giving up big plays, and that being the difference in a lot of the games early against the Chicago Bears. The Bears giving up big plays. You're stopping them on first down and second down, and somebody gets a 59-yard touchdown on third down, or somebody misses an assignment in a defensive backfield, and we've seen that a lot. And hey, man, it is what it is. Do you think that is the logic, or it could possibly be the logic that Dennis Allen went with? Like, look at all these explosive plays we giving up.
I think that was one of the things, but then it's also when I send pressure, why can't we get home? Why is my linebacker in Tremaine Edmonds getting held up in blitzes?
Yeah.
Why can't my corners get home? I understand that Kyler Gordon wasn't available, but the corners, Jaquan Brisker, Nashawn Wright, when those guys were being sent on blitzes, and I'm not saying you got to hit every time, but we know this is the scheme. He's going to want to send pressure to get home. You can't send pressure and not get home. It's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. If you send in pressure, you at least want to, at the minimum, speed up the clock of the quarterback if you can't get home. Too many times we've seen that last year. Again, it sucks to lose those players, but it is what it is, man. C-Dub, before we jump into the mailbag, I want to talk about Khalif Raymond, man. I think it's a hell of a pickup for the Chicago Bears, man, to get a wide receiver / kick returner. And I think it's going to be real good for the Chicago Bears because he's a speed guy. He could break them. And he's, you know what I'm saying, still relatively young, has the familiarity with Ben Johnson. And I think this was one of the good pickups over the NFL free agency period. How did you view it?
I view this as a pickup that needed to happen, but I hate that we needed to do this. We acquired a gentleman last year that was a Pro Bowl kick returner / punt returner in Duvernay. Duvernay was the most frustrating kick returner you can ever sit back and watch on your couch. He did have a couple plays, let's be honest, right at the beginning. He had a couple big
Yep,
plays this season,
he did.
but he was underwhelming at best. That's the best I can give him. He showed no fight. He looked like he was scared to bring the ball back, and there was no explosiveness. Now, this guy Raymond right here, if you go and look at the tape, this guy has all of that. He has explosiveness. He has courage, no fear. And I think that the Chicago Bears did a good job here recognizing the obvious fault in the team and kick returning and punt returning and treating it as important as you should be and getting a respectable kick returner / punt returner back there to play for the Chicago Bears.
For sure. Last thing, just make it real quick. I'm giving the Bears free agency a B, a solid B. I feel like they could have did more with the pass rush. But I ultimately like the moves considering the money that was on the books for us. And they got some players that's gonna be able to come in and start. So I'm gonna give them a B. What grade you get the Chicago Bears during free agency?
I'm gonna get the Bears a B minus. I like what they done. They trying to mold the defense or the team into their scope, the way they want this team to be. But I'm deducting half a point because I love Jaquan Brisker, so I'm just going B minus.
Understood. Understood. Now, see, Dub, the mailbag is kind of thin today. I ain't gonna lie to you, but we're gonna go ahead and do what we gotta do. We're gonna jump right into it, man. This first one is from Coach Rich.
Rich,
Hey, good brothers, good brothers, good brothers. This is Coach Rich from Jersey. Coach Rich from Jersey calling in again. Um, hey, fellas. I know Pose likes to use the word sustainability. Um, I don't see, how that's going to happen if we don't get guys that are truly good at their positions. Meaning, you need good veteran leadership. You need that are good at their jobs. You need good veterans or vets that are slightly above average. You need guys that have at least one or two guys on both sides of the ball that are truly game changing. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? Like we need our version of a Gibbs. We need our version of a Micah. We need our version of, what I'm saying, guys that are truly good at their positions. We have guys that are good in ascending, but we need one or two. And for us not to shoot for, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I'm not even worried about the max thing. It's kind of frustrating. But for Harrison, it's kind of frustrating. All right, so what's C? We've been playing in that C basket for decades, getting guys that are good, but usually throwaways or somebody's leftovers or injured guys coming back from. It's always been something. Now that we're fighting to become a good team, and we have somebody at QB finally that is ascending, possible. I mean, look, has the ability to be an all pro. The line's good, better than average. I mean, one of the best in the league. But we didn't really address our key weaknesses for our own division. We can't get, we gotta hope and hope. I mean, I don't give a, it's nobody in that draft that's gonna hit right now that's gonna be better than Trey Henderson or Max Crosby. Or the kid Philly just lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. We need one or two of those guys on defense. I'm not sure what our defensive back, our future, our highest paid, I would think he's still our highest paid player, but coming back from core muscle injury surgery, I hope he regains his form. And I hope Zay Frazier is legit. But it doesn't matter how legit they are. If we can't get to Goff and Love, we're not going to win. And we need to win consistently, 10 or more win seasons before we have to pay Caleb.
All right, 3-minute time limit, Coach. C-Dub, what you got?
Shout out to Coach Rich with an interesting mailbag right here. He's talking about leadership and the talent that we have on his team. I understand what you're saying right here. You're basically saying that your best player on said side of the field needs to be the leader of the team. And sometimes that is the case, but most times that is not the case. And when I look at the Chicago Bears team, and especially from last year, I would say you had a lot of guys that's respective of what they've done in the league already, could be considered a leader. You could have looked at Montez Sweat. You could have looked at Jalen Johnson. You could have looked at TJ Edwards. But I understand what happened. Maybe they didn't live up to your expectations, to our expectations, or injuries was a roadblock in their impact last season. But I'll tell you this, leadership doesn't have to be your best player on the football field, even though they are leader by default. They lead by example by their play on the field and their effort in practice, etc., etc. I do think that we have the guys, those type of guys that can lead at this current form. We have guys that can be considered leaders. When you look at the three guys that I just said, that's still on this team: Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson, and TJ Edwards. On the offensive side, you got a guy like Cole Kmet. You got a guy like Caleb Williams, who ultimately will be the leader of the entire team. And you got other guys like Joe Thuney. So I think leadership is not a mandated to the best player. In my opinion, it can be the guy who asserts himself as said leader.
I think that's valid. When we talk about leadership, and I agree 100%, it doesn't have to necessarily be the best player, because even though Jalen Johnson was the best defensive back, Kevin Byard was the leader of that group last year. But this year, we don't know what type of guy Devin Bush is in the locker room. We'll see. We don't know what a Super Bowl champion and Coby Bryant is going to bring to this team. We'll see. Now, I understand when it comes to we need our own versions of players, like you pointed out. You said we need our own Gibbs, we need our own Micah, and I would agree with that. But I would say those other teams need their own damn Coast and Lovely, because he's arrived, and I think he's about to put himself in top 5 next season. So we could go through number of teams, and we could go out there and say we should have went out the Trey, we should have went out the Max. They did go out the Max. They at least tried. It's not their fault that they decided to go with the Raiders decided to go with the Ravens. The Bears tried. That's all we can ask them to do. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. When Trey Hendrickson was telling people that he wanted 30 million, he wasn't gonna get it from me. If I'm the GM, and he still ain't get 30. He got 27 with incentives to go to 28. And I still think that's an overpay. Look at the market across the NFL for pass rushers. Guys like Jalen Phillips only did well a half a season last year and got paid $30 million. What? No. So, like, I get it. We wanted to see the big name come over here in Chicago, but I don't believe in overpaying. Not me. And I believe that they got to be flexible and smart with the cap space that they have, because when you go out there and people can say you can restructure this, you can do that, But a lot of times that's kicking the can down the road to where you ultimately still have to pay up.
Yep.
So I know there's a little bit of, a little bit of concern moving forward, at least into the season. But I would encourage people, we still have the draft and people still get signed around training camp. We got a long way to go. But I do understand the concern because there's some voids that still need to be filled. But I'm glad we didn't overpay.
That's dirty, nephew. You just stabbed your boy Garrett Bradbury right in the back with that kicking the can down the road take. Right in the back.
How?
You said kick because he's a kicking the can down the road guy.
No,
he's
the fuck you not. He only got 1 year left. How is that kicking the can down the road?
He's a kicking the can.
And they was just scouting centers. You let the motherfucker start for however many games. You bring the center on, and he can take right over and grow with Caleb. There's no, it's not.
He's a Band-Aid guy.
1 year deal.
You're
1
correct,
year
nephew.
deal. So what?
You're correct. Look at you. Oh, he love him some Garrett Bradbury, bro.
No, I don't.
He love him.
It's a smart move. Appreciate the call, Coach Rich. We about to turn this bitch to Debate Central. Fuck All right, here go the last one for the day. We told you I was a bit thin. The last one for the day is coming from Milton, A Dark Night. Here it is.
Milton.
Hey, what it do? Chicago Bears Central, them Cognac boys. It's Milton, The Dark Night, calling once again on Friday night. But that being said, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get right into it. Woo, this has been one of the most interesting off seasons as a Chicago Bears fan that I've ever experienced. Polls. That's all I can say. He is not bullshitting around with this team now. I think when it comes to that, a lot of people are saying a lot about Polls, but I think he's gotten over the emotional part of being a GM and trying to keep the draft picks that he's drafted and having that emotional hold on, trying to keep them and develop them here in Chicago, and just realize that it's like, okay, I've made some mistakes with some of the picks or swaps that I've did or even trades. That's time to let him go. It's like this year, he's just like, he got balls of steel, man. Simple as that, man. He just don't care. It's kind of like what y'all was saying about Ben Johnson being an asshole coach for the media. Well, Ryan Poles is being an asshole when it comes to this team. I'm not saying that he's a bad person. It's just the way he's handling, business on the NFL side and everything, though. I'm still pissed off that the league isn't going to give us our third round picks. I'm still mainly heated about that. I think, and this is just me, y'all might disagree, I think there's a tinge of racism based on why we're not getting that, and especially with that whole, okay, Matt Ryan is the president of football operations, but damn, Ian Cunningham's the damn GM, and he told the general public that, hey, look, he's going to be getting the players and everything, give us our damn draft picks. But I digress. And then I was just more shocked that, Poles wasn't, they did come to a deal with Kevin Byard. I do wish him the best, and now just finding out that Jonathan Lewis is off to Indy, and some of the good players that we did have, they're off, the greener pastures, wish them the best of luck. But I'm looking forward to some good things with our team. I'm looking, especially these guys that we just brought in with the trade. But I do believe this is be the last day I say in this call. Even though I can't stand the rat bastard Packers, I do have to agree with them on one thing that they do when it comes to their team. They built through that damn draft. That's the one piece of thing I'll give them props for. But the rest of that, fuck Green Bay. Fuck all that. I'm just being on the real when it comes to that, though. I just believe that, the Max Crosby thing, that was just a pipe dream. We weren't going to get it. It was the price is too high. I was like, ain't no way in hell I'll give you 2 damn first rounders. Fuck that. But, hands down, I'm glad what Poles and the team is doing right now. Just keep up the good work, and we'll just have to see to the draft. Chicago up, Bear down. I'll holler at y'all the next one. Have a good one. I holler.
Y'all heard him. I holler. Fuck is you talking about? Say that shit again, Milton. Fuck they talking about. But man, look, I just think that with the compensatory picks, it is what it is, man. I think Ryan Poles, man, he understands what's at stake. You got to go out there and build through the draft. That's just what it is. Yeah, you can swing for certain free agents. Yes, you can go out there and make certain trades. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you still have cap flexibility. You still want to make sure that you have draft flexibility. They shored up a couple spots throughout the free agency period, made some trades, got some draft picks, signed some guys to some really good deals, in my personal opinion, and they made some moves. I didn't expect we can't win 4 offseason championships in a row. We three-peated. It is what it is. We take a year off, maybe we three-peat again. But nonetheless, I just think that it's just one of those things to where you look at it, you chalk it up to the game for those compensatory picks, and you still go do your due diligence in this draft and get prepared for that, and then see what happens or what transpires over the remainder of the remainder of the offseason. But it is what it is, man. We got to just chalk it up to the game.
Yeah. First, I'm gonna start with Green Bay. Yeah, they've been building through the draft, but what's the results in that in the last 3 to 4 years? They haven't won a playoff game. Just gonna put that in there.
Fair.
When it comes to those compensatory picks, hey man, the NFL, this is some bullshit. Can we just go by the letter of the law? Could we just go by the letter of the Constitution? Could we just follow the laws? Is that too hard?
No.
It's written on a piece of paper for a reason. Just follow them. And then when it comes to the Chicago Bulls the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles and his job this offseason, I have said this is going to be his toughest offseason as a GM. And it is. And you want to know why I think it's the toughest, nephew? Because the Bears got momentum. He must build on that momentum. The Bears cannot go backwards now. Because now we're going to be looking at Ryan Poles like, why are we going backwards? We can finally, because there's been some mishaps. The wide receiver that couldn't shut his mouth. I forgot his name a couple years ago. He had to fire him mid-season. That was a bad mistake picking him up. Maybe Dale, that's a bad mistake. But right now, he got a cup. And he's already started putting that grease in the fan. He already started putting the grease in the frying pan because he got rid of Jaquan Brisker. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that, Ryan. But we letting you cook. We can't go backwards. He has to be successful this offseason. And it ain't easy. It ain't an easy road he's taking. But he has to. We can't go backwards, nephew.
Yeah, to Milton's point, he definitely went cold-blooded. He ain't signed none of these mugs back.
They went and get 1 year, $5.5 million.
He said, oh, y'all kept giving up these big plays. I appreciate the interceptions and the turnovers, but y'all asses can't.
And that man, Jaquan Brisker, was all about the Chicago Bears on Twitter. He gonna be in a minute. He gonna get some middle fingers in a minute, maybe.
On the real. But good luck to him over there in Pittsburgh. I think that's a good spot for him. That's a good spot for him.
Yeah. I just wish he would have played full tilt the whole season. I think he paced himself for that season to stay healthy for the entire season, which he did, but it didn't have the impact that the Chicago Bears was looking for, bro.
Agreed, 100%. But hey, till next time, you got anything left, bro?
Another week bites the dust. On to the next.
It is what it is, man. But hey, before y'all get up out of here, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That is it from us today. If you want to be a part of the mailbag episode, go ahead, call in, state your name, leave your take. The number to do so is 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears. I'm Bobby. That's C-Dub. Y'all already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.